Happy Saturday, everybody. Hey, it's me, Rachel Renea, and welcome to another amazing episode of Breakthrough TV. If it's your first time joining, I want to say welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in and making us your show for this Saturday morning. On Breakthrough TV, me and my guests provide real insight to everyday life challenges we face as women, mothers, and friends. We only want to give truth, which is found in the Word of God. We are real women, discussing real issues, providing real breakthrough. I have an amazing treat for you all on today. Last week, I had my mom on the show. This week, I have my amazing sister on the show. Help me welcome to the stage my lovely, amazing, gorgeous sister, Sheena.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, gorgeous. How are you today?
I am doing wonderful. How are you?
I am so great. So great. Y'all, let me tell y'all something. My sister is the jack of all trades. It ain't too much that she can't do. She's a phenomenal mother. She's a phenomenal wife. And she's a phenomenal sister. An amazing daughter. She does real estate. Anything real estate. That's her lane. Anything finance. That's her lane. Like she is on it. She is on it. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, it's amazing. There's nothing she can't do, and anyone who knows her knows that quality is like those qualities are all her. She's awesome. Well, thank you so much, girl, for being here with me on today.
Thank you so much for having me. I definitely appreciate the invite.
Yes. Well, last week was Mother's Day weekend. How did you enjoy yourself?
It was pretty good.
Oh my goodness! Did you get like any surprises? Anything surprising happen?
Yeah, so my son, Jeremiah, he bought me a pair of I don't know which Jordans they are, but they're white and violet purple.
Okay.
So he bought me those, and my husband, Calvin, he bought me several different little small gifts. He tried to really put some thought into it this time, other than
Okay.
just buying a piece of jewelry. So,
Yeah.
he's gonna get some extra loving. Um, um, and so of course, mom always gets the best cards. I
Yes,
mean,
she
hands down. Like as soon as I read Sheena, my tears are already flowing. So she's just, yeah. So she got me a few gifts. I'm just, very appreciative of what
Oh,
everybody.
that is
Yeah.
so sweet.
Yes.
Yes. Well, um, I definitely enjoyed my Sunday dinner with my babies. So
Mm.
yes, I
What
had
did y'all have?
we had Olive Garden.
Mm. One of my
Yes.
favorites.
Yes. Yes. Now Olive Garden here is not the best, but but I was so thankful for the free meal. So it
Hmm.
was Lord, I just thank you. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Last week we had Mama on the show, and she was on here cutting all the way up.
Yeah, I watched. I watched, and you was wrong for bringing up what's her name, Paula, or what's that lady? What's the
Oh,
lady's name?
Patty from Dairy Queen.
Yeah, yeah.
Girl, listen,
Yes,
my mama
hilarious.
is special. She knows she's special. And she know I said I went lying, but yes. So I know school is getting ready to wrap up, but I do
Hmm.
think that there are some things that as parents we need to be mindful of going into the next school year that's preparing and transitioning into the next school year for 2022, 2023. Um, I'm a firm believer in, when you make things into practice, practice becomes habit, and habit
Hmm.
becomes uh, us doing better about not just ourselves, but our babies as well.
You're right.
So I know if I know anything, when it comes down to your children excelling in school, like you got that part down, and you are very
Well,
firm. You're very firm in, how you like your expectations of your children. And I know me myself, I have my expectations and my standards, but then I had those moments where I'm just like, we got things to do. Put the homework to the side, let's go. But
Yeah.
but you're disciplined enough to where you're able to say, nope, this is where we're at, this is what we're doing, and this is what you guys are going to do. And if we can't get if we can't, do these things that we want to do, then I'm sorry. So, and
Right.
I admire that about you. 'Cause I'd just be like, I'm ready to play. Let's go. So
Yeah, I will say Jeremiah has missed several Christmases, so my money stayed in my pockets because he
that's
wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. But
hmm
what I've learned with children is each child has a different learning style. I mean, each adult has a different learning style. So, once you can figure out how your child learns, it's just a little bit easier for them to get through their studies and try to excel. Um, for example, Jeremiah is more visual and more hands on. So if he's in the classroom and the teacher's just talking, he may not necessarily grasp the concept. And if he comes home, let's say it's a math problem or whatever, if I physically write it out and show him, XYZ, then he'll, understand a little bit better. So he graduated in February, but when I tell you like a it was like a push day by day, you know, um, almost like I had to hold his hand, you know, for a lot of the time. But he got through it. Now Jaslyn, she's very independent. Um, she has her dad's mindset when it comes to learning. So she can hear it one time and she's gonna excel no matter what. Like her grades are always good. Um, it makes me think about I think I was going to the third grade and the entire summer daddy had got me a chalkboard and he was like, you gotta learn your multiplication. He said, when I ask you, you need to be on it like that. And anytime I hesitated, he'd be like, go back in there and start all over. So, of course, by the end of the summer, I had it down pat. But he also was firm with our grades. You couldn't just come home with a D or you be half dead, you know. You had to put in, your best. There was no such thing as C's and D's and F's, or there were going to be consequences. And I feel like a lot of times as parents, we're more lax and we don't necessarily push our children like our parents did back in the day.
I like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
you spent the summer not hanging out with your friends, not
Nope.
going to the beach,
Nope.
not uh not doing what you wanted to do, but you spent the summertime preparing for the upcoming school year.
Yep. Yep. And that showed me that to be not necessarily to be second, but you always have to put your best foot forward. Like it was no such thing to daddy as average.
Mhm.
So, we had to keep leveling up, so I knew if I brought a C home or, I might have all A's in the rest of my studies, but that one C, he's gonna look past that and be like, okay, well, what happened here? Like you
Mm.
did good here, but what happened? What happened here? And I'm like, well, dang, I got all A's in the other subject, but that C just threw off everything. So it definitely taught me a lot. Yeah.
I think it's just interesting how, because like we mentioned last week, it was five of us in the house.
Hmm.
So daddy had equipped you with what you needed, and then you turned around and what you were equipped with, you forced onto us, is what it
Hmm.
felt like. So you would be like, okay, yeah, I remember in the summertime, my sister would be the teacher, And we'd be in the house wanting to play. And she's like, no, you guys are going to sit down here and you're going to learn this, and you're going to learn that. We'd be like, what?
Yeah.
And we would be doing math problems. And I would make my zeros a certain kind of way and I wouldn't close them.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember her saying, telling me that my answers were wrong. And I was like, my answers are not wrong. That says 10. 5 times 2 is 10. And she would say, you have to close your zero. Don't
Mm-hmm.
leave it open. It's like a you close your zero. So that's something that I make sure that whenever I did my work moving forward, even through school, even as an adult, I always close my zeros. So there are certain
Mm-hmm.
things that we learn early on that we continue to use as we age into our adulthood. So I love the idea, and that's perfect. The fact that parents can know to use the summertime to plan and prepare for the way
Mm-hmm.
ahead. Because like I said earlier, I be wanting to play, and I be wanting to play, and I'm disciplined enough to make myself sit down and do certain things. But then for my children, um, I kind of feel like there are times where like Jordan would just do her work. There
Mm-hmm.
may be days where I have to say, Jordan, get in there and get the work done. Or I'll remind her, oh, you have this grade in this class. And then she'll be like, oh, I'm so stressed. But then she'll get in there and she'll do what she has to do to get those grades up. Because I'll tell
Mm-hmm.
her, by the time it's time for final grades, don't bring me home this. Don't bring me home
Mm-hmm.
that. Do what you have to do. Jacob, on the other hand, there with him, I just felt like, well, he, I was working with him outside of school at home to help him to learn whatever it was they were learning at school. Because like Jeremiah, I feel like Jacob's more of a visual person, and then
Mm-hmm.
he does it with like one on one. So because he was in a large class setting, his teacher couldn't really be one on one. So
Right.
he had to come home, and I had to be one on one with him at the house, and then he would understand it. And he would oftentimes come and tell me, "Well, Mama, when you explain stuff, what you say makes a
Mm-hmm.
whole lot of sense because the teacher, I don't
Right.
get what they're saying." And but
Right.
what I've come to find out is that the curriculum that the teachers are teaching now, some of them don't even understand it themselves. So when you
Right.
can't understand whatever it is that you're teaching, you can't really expect your children to grasp because you yourself haven't grasped.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. Yeah. They have like Jasmine comes home with I think they call it the new math. And I'm like, I didn't learn this way. So the only way I can show you is the way I learned,
Right.
and but yeah, it's interesting how they switch stuff up, and then the parents are just supposed to jump on board, but they don't, they don't use textbooks anymore. So
Yeah.
we don't have a sample sheet to look at.
Mhm.
But yeah, the learning style has definitely changed, definitely. Um, Also, with children, sometimes we have to reward them. Like when Jasmine gets good grades, she just be so excited to tell me, and I'm like, okay, well, what do you want? And she, it's never anything big or whatever. But like this last time, I think she got all A's and one B, so I bought her a it's a LED lamp for her room, and she was just so excited about it. And like now for Jeremiah, you know, I could tell him, okay, I'll buy you a pair of shoes. If you bring home decent grades, it didn't really matter. It had to be for him. It had to be something from within. So I'll say for him, like the 11th grade is when he like did a 360, and I guess
Mhm.
he understood. Okay, well, you know what? Like school is getting ready to end. Let me get on board before I not graduate. So, but yes, it's the boy dynamic and the girl dynamic is just so different, so different.
So let's hey Joshua. Joshua's here again, guys. So So that's something that I know about Jacob too. So let me ask you a quick question. Come here, Joshua. Come say hey to everybody. Come say hello.
Hey everybody.
That vocabulary is expanding.
Huh?
I said his vocabulary is expanding.
Hey everybody.
Hey, Joshua.
Hey everybody.
Hey,
This
Jacob.
is family affairs.
Hey.
Get your brother.
I'm not single too.
Relax.
Did he say he's single?
Huh? Yes, he said he was single.
I said I'm not single.
He said, "Oh, you're not single." Okay. And here comes my daughter.
Can I go lay down?
Say hello to everybody.
Hey, Jordan.
How do these kids coming to crash this interview? I don't understand. It wasn't her. Auntie Sheena was on the interview today. Y'all, the kids love Auntie Sheena. Get your brother.
Mama.
Go ahead, Stink. Are you gonna go outside?
Yeah.
Okay, go outside.
No.
No.
Sorry for the interruption, guys. What I was gonna say was like I knew that just like you said, like Jeremiah, the light switch went on for
Mhm.
him to say, okay, it's time to get it together.
Mhm.
And when I realized that Jacob wasn't putting forth the necessary effort into school, I told him, I said, one day you're just gonna say, you know what, no more. I'm gonna get it together. You're
Yeah.
gonna get it together.
Mm-hmm.
He did this year. This year he was just like, I'm not bringing home bad grades.
Yeah.
I'm bringing home great grades. I'm gonna do my best.
Mhm.
So what kind of encouragement would you give those parents who feel like, well, I just feel like I'm just not, I'm trying to connect with my child, trying to do the right things, but we just can't figure this thing out.
Yeah. Well, sometimes they just have to see it for themselves. You don't want to necessarily give up on your child, but you want to be able to take a step back because, somebody constantly in your ear telling you what you need to do, for them, that'll be a shut off. And before you know it, they won't do what they're supposed to do, or they'll continue to not do what they're supposed to do. So you have to be able to take a step back and allow them to see, okay, well, what you're doing is not getting you where you need to be. And, like Jeremiah, eventually he got on board. Just like Jacob this year, he got on board. You know, um, Sometimes it just takes a while. And I feel like it's the same way with adults too. You know, um, like my husband, he could tell me something all day long, and it's like, I may not listen, but I can meet a stranger on the road that says the same exact thing and it clicks. And then, I may have to come back and apologize and be like, okay, I heard you, but I didn't hear you. But,
Right.
that's just the way we're wired. And, you know, if you keep, um, if you keep encouraging your child, because I will say a lot of times I feel like self-esteem plays a big factor in children not excelling in school. Um, so I can definitely say there are times where I probably said some harsh words to my children, as well, not my children, but to Jeremiah as far as his grades because I was so frustrated. But
Yeah.
we don't know what all they go through at school or, with the bullying and this and that. So if their self esteem is low, what makes you think they're gonna put in 100% effort with the work? So we might have to change our tone or change our words, and tell them, look, I believe in you, you know, um, just and try to motivate them to do better.
That was good. That was real good because I think that's the piece that we miss. We miss the fact that they actually have things going on at school. Things are
Hmm.
happening in school,
Yeah.
things that we can't see.
Right.
So, last week me and mom talked about connecting in love, and when you're not connecting with your child
Yeah.
and y'all just when you're not connecting with your child, you may not know what's going on. They may be keeping things back from you.
Hmm.
Man, that's good, Sheena. Um, that's real good. That's real good. We definitely have to deal with our children. We need to have a relationship with our children. But you know what? I think that one thing that some parents may miss is the fact that you have to take out time with the child, with
Hmm.
their work, and not think that, okay, I'm just here your worksheet, go figure it out.
Yeah.
And then grades or slipping, or and you're yelling at them, fussing at them. If you're not taking out time with them to help them figure things out, then you're not connecting, and you don't
Hmm.
really know what's going on. So it's important to connect and figure out, what's that missing factor.
Right. Yep. And when you're frustrated, you can't expect them to be happy about you being frustrated and um, trying to move forward. They can't do that. So maybe just a pat on the back, or a hug, or even a good I love you. I see your grades. I see that you're not necessarily um, doing well in this subject, but just know things will get better. Just maybe put in a little effort. I might need to study with you for um, a little longer, or or even down to a tutor. Like I said, we all have different learning styles, so um, it's definitely hard to connect when they learn a certain way and the teacher is in class teaching a different way.
And this the one thing that you everything that we're doing, and as it relates to parenting for our children, it's about making sacrifices.
Hmm.
I love the idea about tutoring. So here in Georgia, they have free tutors. They have tutors at school. They have tutors online. Like, these children have access to tutors, and it's just
That's
free.
good. Yeah, that's good.
So when we were in Maryland, we used Sylvan Learning, I think it
Hmm.
was. And the tutor would come to the house, and she would sit with Jacob, and she would just work one on one with him. And he was grasping concepts, and his grades were
Hmm.
changing and getting better. And every time she came to the house, I had to pay her every time she came to the house.
Yeah, it's
I mean, it's
expensive.
$50, yeah, like $50. And each tutor has a different rate depending on who you go with on Sylvan
Okay.
Learning. And we're not promoting Sylvan Learning. I'm just using this as an example, because I did use them. But the I feel like, well, if he's doing better and she can work one on one with him while I get other things done, then why not? So
Hmm.
this tutor, she was also a teacher. So she would bring over different materials that she had to help him because going back to visual aids, to be able to help him to better grasp the concept. And I said, Jacob, are you enjoying your sessions with your tutor? He was like, yeah. So since I was paying her by the hour, that means I had to cut back somewhere for myself. So
Hmm.
it may mean I probably couldn't get my nails done this week. I probably couldn't get my toes done this week. There are certain things I had to stop doing for me in order to make sure that my child had what they needed. So
Hmm.
if I was replacing that self-care time by saying, okay, well, I can't do this, but I can walk around the neighborhood for an hour, you know.
Right.
So regain that self-care time in some kind of way, because I don't want any of the moms to feel like, oh well, if I don't get my hair, my nails done, that's time for me. But there are other ways to make time for yourself without having to spend money.
That's
So,
true. Yeah, that's true.
just being able to sacrifice time, sacrifice money for the betterment of whatever it is that we want for our child. We want our child to excel. We got to do things that say, I support where you're at and I see your struggles, especially if you're not willing to, if you don't want to take out that time to help your child, then be willing to spend for someone else to come in and provide that time for your child.
Right. And also, like, don't be afraid to tell your, to tell your children where you struggled at in school, because sometimes they need, to, it needs to be relatable to them. I feel like a lot of times we as parents, we make it look like we're perfect, like everything is just, flowing. And, you know, we need to have these conversations with our children. Like, look, in the third grade, I struggle, with English, or, my vocabulary wasn't the best, or, we need to let them see that, we're not perfect. So that'll actually help them to say, okay, you know what, if my mom was able to get through this, you know, through high school or through college, or, whatever, I could do the same thing. That's motivation within itself.
Absolutely. And that's one thing that I think my children appreciate about
Mhm.
me, their transparency, except when I say, well, we were an IB program. We were in the International
Yeah.
Baccalaureate program.
Yes.
So that program, there was like a college prep program. And
Hmm.
the first day of school, you came home, you had 7 classes, and by the end of the day, you had 7 projects that would do it the next week or two.
Back hurting and everything. Yes.
So that was like, oh my gosh. And sometimes we're like, oh, this is exciting. And then other times they're like, this is stressful. This is
Hmm.
this is too much.
Yeah.
But so when my children came home with a worksheet, because we hadn't been in traditional school or regular public school since I was in second grade. So at the Dilworth, I don't know anything else about traditional school because
Yeah.
third grade until I got into ninth grade, but Harding was a math and science school. Um, I didn't do it was IB. So
Hmm.
when Jacob and them came home with a worksheet one day, I was like, "What is this? What, what is? Why you got a worksheet? Where's your book? Where are your books at? What is going on?" I was really confused. I called a whole conference with the teachers. Excuse me, my child's coming home with the worksheet. Where are the books at? And they were like, "Well, we don't do that anymore."
Yeah.
Well, why not? What is going on? And then I had to
Hmm.
remember that they're in regular public school, traditional
Hmm.
public school. So that's probably what we would have been doing too in traditional public schools, but we weren't there. We were in the IB program, which
Right.
helped us to prepare for college. When I got to college, I was like, and we in the first day of school, they were just like, oh, just read these chapters and here's your syllabus and a project due at the end of at the end of the semester. That's it. Read the book. That's
Hmm.
this is gonna be a breeze. This is gonna be a breeze right here because I had already knew what it looked like to take on all those extra challenges. So,
Hmm.
and to say that, I want to say that I realized that whenever I had those conversations where when I was in school, we had to do all this extra. I don't want to hear that. We ain't back in
Yeah.
your days, and we ain't doing this, and we ain't doing that. And she'd be like, "Well, I just want you to know that you're getting frustrated over this worksheet with 10 questions."
Hmm.
You know,
Right.
so
Yeah.
I'm a little bit confused, but I ain't gonna lie. Many days I've been like, "Thank God for this worksheet with 10 questions," and we're not doing we ain't doing all these projects. When they come with them projects, I'm like, oh, I be like, they be,
Yeah.
oh, friend, what can you do? Because this is a little bit too much. Girl, I am so serious. I just be like, I don't know about this. Let me call another conference. Why y'all sending these kids home with projects?
Mm-mm.
Oh my goodness. Okay, this I was having a conversation today, and one thing that we discussed were like we're talking about today, practical things to help your child out. And um, bedtime, having bedtimes is necessary.
Yes,
It is so necessary.
it is.
And I have Joshua, sometimes he struggles to want to go to bed. But I was like, you know what? He's 3 years old. I'm the parent. Get your behind in the bed. Get in the bed. If that means I have to come in here and lay down with you for a little bit and until you go to sleep or until you like calm down and relax, then I'll do what I have to do. But I need to make sure that it's at a time that's going to be feasible to where I'm able to come in and do that. And I'm not, and it doesn't intervene with any other times or schedule that I have going on.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob, with him being in high school, he puts himself to bed. I don't have to go in here and say, hey, it's time to go to bed. He's like, this is my bedtime. I'm going to bed at this time, and I can expect that when I go in that room, lights are off. He's in the bed. I'm like, oh, okay. Now the princess, on the other hand, she just do what she want to do, and I'm like, okay, bring your devices and put them in my room because if you can't, I can go to sleep because you're on your devices. So. Right. Take her phone, take her iPad, and shut it down by a certain hour so she can fall asleep.
Yeah. But Jeremiah, in his high school days, sometimes he'd be up to 1, 2 o'clock playing the game. And the only way I would know it is, I guess, if he was losing or something, he yell. And I'm like, you need to go to bed. You got to get up early. So, and now Jasmine, on the other hand, her bedtime was 8:45, and then her little friends start picking at her. You go to bed at 8:45? That's early. So she came and told me about it, and she was like, I feel bad, because I have to go to bed early. But Jasmine don't want to get up in the morning. I have to punch her, slap her. Like we have to have a whole fight in order for her to get out of the bed. So I'm like, if you could start going to bed, if you can start going to bed at the time you're supposed to go and then get up like you're supposed to, then we can work on you staying up a little later. But I get tired of fighting in the morning, It's ridiculous.
You had to fight.
Yeah.
Girl, yes.
So yes, bedtimes are definitely necessary. Yeah.
Well, my daughter, with Jordan, I feel like she sometimes is not as tired as she needs to be because they don't really, in elementary school, you do all the running around and stuff like that. So you pour your body out. You had PE this week, or you went outside for recess. But as you start to get older, you don't have recess. They might have PE this semester, but when they don't have that, and if they do have PE, you when you a teen, you start getting cute. You ain't running around nobody. You ain't finna get all musty. And I'm not running around kicking no balls. So they need to wear their bodies out. So I believe exercise is definitely important.
It is. But I don't think they exercise like we used to. And growing up in school, I remember having to do like, what was it, a mile, and we had to do it in a certain amount of time.
Mile run.
Like they don't do stuff like that no more. 6th grade, Jasmine will be going to 6th grade. She can't play sports until 7th grade. They just changed everything.
Yes. So, and even if they can't get that exercise at school, like push them out the door at home.
Yeah, we go to the track and I'm out walking her and Jeremiah, and then next thing I know, she's sitting down. I'm like, if you don't get up, you 10 years old.
Girl. Yeah.
Real.
We'll do like exercise nights here at the house. We'll go outside in the front yard, or we'll go upstairs to the playroom, and Jacob has all this exercise equipment. So I try to make it fun and jump around and just do little things, try to make it exciting. And okay, guys, let's put some music on and just start dancing a little bit. Come on, y'all, let's go. They hear me in the playroom like let's go, let's go. They come in like, oh, I'm there exercising. They come in like, okay, Mama, let's go. They just want to know with me, and Josh want to get picked up so he can be bounced around as I'm exercising. And I'm like, you too heavy for all this nonsense. So really, sometimes use him as a weight as well.
Okay. And you know what? That's how we have to make learning fun as well. Like the teachers that stand out to me were the teachers. Like I had a U.S. history teacher, and it was never a dull moment. Um, we go in the classroom, he'd be dressed up in character, or we could be sitting there learning something, and he would. I know it sounds crazy, but he would throw a chair. It was exciting, and we looked forward to coming to his class. Like I said, even though it sounded a little crazy, but yeah, he made it fun to learn. And I mean, even with math, the teachers that I had that taught math, they would bring objects in to um, kind of like a show and tell to put the problem in perspective. So those teachers made it worth the while. Um, but yeah, we have to make learning fun. It doesn't have to be boring, or if it's a subject like U.S. history wasn't necessarily my favorite subject, but because the teacher taught the way he taught, like I learned so much that year, from it. So it's very important.
So if any of you out there are teachers and you're at school and you're frustrated and you're trying to figure out how to make your kids get it together, bring bring the life back to the classroom by doing something
Yeah.
spontaneous and get them,
Right.
because they're children and
Hmm.
they're curious. So when you start doing stuff, they're like, "What's she gonna do today? Or what he gonna do today?" They're on their
Hmm.
toes. They're really really they look forward to it. Like you said, they look forward to it. So,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah. They need their mind stimulated.
Mhm. What about eating, healthy eating?
Oh, healthy eating is so important. Of course, we were raised with the neck bones and the
Eating real
and the
good.
pig feed, and you know, um, I feel like those things are probably okay in moderation, but with so many different diseases tied to certain meats, and you know, um, I guess at the end of the day, it's not necessarily good for us. So, um, if you have a healthy eating style, you know, um, that's going to translate in the body as well. It's going to
Yeah,
translate in the mind as well. So, it all goes hand in hand.
I
So,
noticed that when I eat like heavy meals,
hmm
I'm more tired, and
hmm
I lost my focus, my attention. I'm just thinking about, I
yeah,
just want to feel right about now.
right,
Uh, like I think the kids coming home and getting like a healthy snack before doing their work is important. These kids be
hmm
eating in the morning, 11 o'clock, 10:30 in the morning,
yeah,
and you wanting them to have all this attention in class for from 10 to 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. These babies they're hungry again.
they
So
are,
you may have to have your babies pack them a snack, or and they do have these things like called individual learning plans or IEPs, 4 plans at school, where
hmm
if your child requires something like some peanut butter and crackers or something to eat, they can write a plan that says, at this time every day, this child needs to stop and take a break and have a snack so they can
right,
stimulate their brains again. So I know and I don't know if many parents are familiar with those programs, but the schools do have individualized programs that they can create through the school counselors that can help your child to excel in school. So don't feel like, okay, well, my child's hungry all day. I don't know what to do because the teacher's saying, well, you can't do this, you can't do that. Contact the school counselor and let them know what your concerns are and allow them to provide you options for your child.
Yeah. Yeah, and breakfast is definitely important, but you have a lot of people, like including myself. Like I'm not really a breakfast eater. If I can eat at 11 or 12, like I'm good. But eating early in the morning, especially as soon as I get up, just ain't never really been my thing. So
Yeah.
it's the snacking or whatever you can get set up at a school is definitely a good idea.
Yes. Um, and the one thing that you talked about earlier was like the open line of communication between the child and the parent. In
Hmm.
order for that child to be successful and excel in school, you want to be able to communicate with your child about what's happening at the school. You want to be able to talk to, like at dinner every day, we discuss school. What happened at school today? I
Yeah.
want to know about the fights. I want to know what the teacher said. I want to know what you did, why you did those things, why they did those things. Like dinner time in my house is lit because they can't wait to tell me about how their day is. I'm just looking like, what is really going on? But
Yeah.
um, so engage. Don't let's not just discuss homework.
Mm.
Engage in the activities that they have going on at school. Talk about it. Be at the school. Be present, and show them that that you're there. Because my
Mhm.
kids, first of all, I will pop up on them in a second, and then second, like I told them, I said, I said next year I'm driving school bus. Not our school bus. I'm driving your school bus. I'm gonna be driving your school bus. I'm taking you to school. Or I told them, I might be a substitute teacher. Why would you
Mhm.
do that? So I can be in your class. So something goes out, I can just pop my head and be like, what y'all up in here doing? You know, be present, be visible, communicate with your child, and join join the booster club, join the PTA, like
Mhm.
find out what's going on in your school and at your
Right.
child's school, and be that asset. Because like when Daddy was the PTA president in my school,
Mm.
elementary school, I was like, well, I can't get in trouble because as the PTA president, although I did faithfully get in trouble every day. Uh, I mean, but when you have a presence at this, when you as the parent, when you have a presence at that child's school, then it makes them more mindful of, well, how am I conducting myself? What kind of behaviors am I exemplifying?
Yeah, that's true. That is so true. Yeah. Daddy popped up on me a couple times, and needless to say, I got a whooping a couple times
Ah,
from from him popping up. So yeah.
uh, yeah, he popping up with camcorders, popping up
Yeah.
with video recorders. I remember this one day. Daddy came to the school, and that particular morning, I had packed this skirt that he told me I couldn't wear no more. Skirt had a split up way up the front of it, and I couldn't wait to put that on. So I had left the school. I left the house in this long skirt with splits on the side, and then I took it off when I got to school, and I put on the little short skirt with the split up the front. And I was in there in the cafeteria walking around looking all cute and stuff. And then somebody was like, Rachel, that's your daddy. I was like, what? In high school. And he
Hmm.
came in, he had flowers in his hand. And I heard him grab my jacket and put it on my lap. I was like, Daddy, you brought me flowers. Oh, this is so great. Girl, I didn't drop that jacket one time. This is so great. I'm so raising flowers. He's like, yeah, I thought about you want to bring some flowers. Okay. So you just, man, like that. And I really feel like that's probably why I do what I do with my kids, because you pop up and they just be like,
Look, did you ever stand up that day and let him see what skirt you had on?
Girl, I stood up and I had my jacket in front of the skirt the whole time. I was like, oh, Daddy, girl, honey, like a little apron. And he didn't pay me no attention. He didn't know what I was doing. Nothing. He was just so happy because all my friends was like,
Yeah.
oh, that is so sweet. Boosting his head up.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
sweet. I noticed some flowers. So he didn't even care about what I had going on. I was like, man. But then I felt bad because I'm like, here he is doing this nice gesture for me, and I'm doing
Hmm.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, he was good for popping up, that's for sure. Sometimes, sometime I was wishing he had a regular 9 to 5. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's a whole fact, girl.
Hmm.
Um, hold on, let me unlock this. Um, and then I like the idea of the children taking breaks with their work
Hmm.
because sometimes they can be frustrated and overwhelmed,
Yeah.
and you have to be able to see that and say, okay, just take a break. Let's go to the mall, or let's go have a snack or something, and being able to say, okay, well, you're gonna take a break, but when you finish doing this, you go back and you're gonna, finish that. Because
Yeah.
Jordan has to take breaks. Like she cannot. I mean, 'cause, oh, I'm so stressed, and I start hearing something. Doom, doom. What's going on here? And she in here throwing books. Ma'am, I need you not to be throwing no books. Don't throw any books. I'm not paying for books. None of that nonsense. What is wrong? It's just too much. Okay, well, if it's too much, she's telling me she's overwhelmed. So
Hmm.
take a break. Take a break.
Yeah. I know Jaslyn had, I want to say it was not last year, but the year before last. Um, I was talking to her teacher, and she was like, "Jaslyn's classwork is good. Um, the little quizzes we take are good." She said, "But it's something about when she tests." She said, I feel like she could do so much better." And she was like, "I'm thinking she may get some type of test anxiety."
Mm.
So, so what I started doing is the days that she tell me she'll be like, "Mama, I got a test." It should be like, "Pray for me." So I actually So I actually started praying with her, the day she tell me, okay, well, I got a test, I'll say a little quick prayer, and she'll be just so appreciative of it. And then she'll go in there and she'll ace that thing. So,
Oh,
prayer changes things.
glory be to God. Yes, it does.
Hmm.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes, it does. That's good. I love it. And that's one of the things that I had written down. Praying for and with your children, because these children are going into this setting with all these different spirits, all these
Hmm.
different people, and you don't know what these other children and teachers are up against at their house. So maybe
Right.
the teacher could be, dealing with domestic violence, going through a divorce,
That's
and
true.
your child's at school trying to figure, and teacher come in, she just mean every day. She in there, she acting like this and acting like that. Well, what's going on? What happened? And like Jacob
Hmm.
will come home and he'll say, Mama, my teacher, she said that her ex-husband's sick, so she has to take some days off. Or my teacher
Hmm.
said, and so whenever I hear those things, I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
I need to go pray for this teacher, pray for this class, because I think her ex-husband had passed away. He got sick and he passed away. And
Hmm.
so, when you come, and daddy had just passed away, I want to say a month before that. So my heart went out to her, because I was like, I don't know how she's feeling, but she has to
Yeah.
come back to work. And when she comes back to work, she has to put on that face that says,
Yeah.
come on and push through it.
Yeah.
And, being able, and I have to tell Jacob, just because your teacher may look like everything's okay, she's probably not.
Hmm.
So give her a break. Don't give her a
Yeah.
hard time. Don't be in the classroom showing out, cutting up, none of that nonsense.
Yeah.
Because she's dealing with a lot. And so you see how I'm sitting here in the house and kind of like laying around and crying or whatever. I was like, you don't know what she's doing at home, and you don't know how you guys could be contributing to her frustration. So
Right.
just having that communication with them, because they're sharing things with me, and I'm able to say, okay, here's the bigger picture of what could be possibly going on. So, be
Hmm.
gentle here, be gentle there. But those
Yeah.
children are, my Jordan, she came home and she was telling me how one of the students in her class, she watched her father force her to watch him and his wife be intimate together. Like these
Hmm.
kids they got some things going on,
Yeah.
and we have to cover our children. We
We
got
do.
to teach the teachers, the children, the school, all that, the bus drivers.
Yeah. Yeah, we also have to, teach our children to pray as well, because they definitely are, they're going to need that. So teaching them to pray, um, and have a relationship with God is the ultimate, you know.
Yes. Yeah. And Mama and I, we talked last week about how them teaching us and instilling Christ in us, the impact that it had on our lives as adults. And
Yeah,
so it is definitely key to make sure that the foundation is Christ. And even though you may feel like, okay, well, we're my child's 15, my child's 18, and we're just now learning about Christ. It's never too late to start. It's never too
right.
late. God has a way of coming in there and just doing whatever he want to do. He can do that. He can do that.
That's so
But
true.
it just being that example for our child and not saying, oh well, well, my parents did it like this or they did like this. So I'm just it is what it is. Let's not have that. Let's not carry an it is what it is mentality. Let's do what
Mm,
we can to be able to declare change in our lives and in our children's lives. I love the idea of making sure your children know how to pray,
mm-hmm.
because they have to know how to pray. They have to know how to
Yeah,
cover
yeah.
themselves. They have to know when they find themselves in situations at school, well, I don't have to fight with my hands. I can just pray right now. When I find myself
Mhm,
in a test, I can just pray right now. When I
mhm.
feel like I may feel sick and my mama said, "Don't call me today because she won't come pick me up from school," I can just pray right now.
Mhm.
Whatever it is, whatever they find themselves facing, they should know that their first instinct should be prayer.
Right. Yep. Adversity is everywhere, so
Hmm.
you need that tool, that connection to God.
Right. Um, I also wrote down as far as like our children's success. The school board plays the biggest role in the success of our children, as one of the biggest success in our children as well. The school board in the Columbia County. I live in Richmond County, but in Columbia County here in Augusta, well, they're in Grovetown. They were talking about how somebody on the school board said, when your child enters into the school, your parental rights go out the door.
Mhm.
Who put you on the board? Who put you into position? Because you sounding real silly. And if that's the case, then you wouldn't send home parental consent to take my child on a field trip, or parental
Mhm.
consent for my child to watch certain videos, parental consent for my child to be doing AB, whatever it is. If that was really the case, then I wouldn't have to fill out no forms for you to take pictures of my child and post it on social media, or to
Yeah.
put it to the Board of Education's website. But the people that we have in place, the candidates that we're choosing or selecting, like they're determining what the curriculum looks like. They're determining what your child is reading. They're determining who they're hiring. They're determining who they're firing. So
Mhm.
we have to get out and we have to go vote. We have to go vote. We have to know who we're voting for. Don't just be like, oh, I saw like 50 pictures of this person, I'm voting for them. What do they stand? Because I really feel like most candidates that campaign, that I believe that they said that majority of them know that they just put out a whole bunch of pictures of themselves. People are gonna be like, I'm voting for that person. I see that picture everywhere. But that can't be your reason for choosing this individual. I'm gonna need for you to go do some research and find out what they stand for, what they are about, and how they're what kind of assets are they bringing to the stage.
Mhm. Yep. That's so true. Um, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all people, so of course we're all gonna have flaws. But you know, what's the one? I think it was trying to think of the name of. It's some theory that they were proposing for the school board. You know what I'm talking about?
I haven't heard of that.
I can't think of the name of the theory, but basically it's trying to I guess erase all of the Black history, and um, they were trying to promote it so that way when the new students enter into the school system, as far as the slaves and all of that, like none of that'll be mentioned in the classrooms.
Okay, I have heard of that.
Yeah.
Um, I forgot what theory that they called it, but if I could be honest, I do think when I was in seventh grade and I was introduced, like my brain was on, and I heard them talk about slavery. I remember sitting in class in seventh grade looking at all white people like this, out of and in that moment, I no longer looked at them the same. We
Hmm.
discussed it in elementary school, but I no longer they now were a they became the enemy, and
Hmm.
our conversation changed. Well, you know what? If it wasn't for your grandma or your great grandma, we wouldn't, and it was, I began to attack them because of what I learned in
Oh
the book.
wow. Yeah.
So I just think that there are some things, and this is just my perspective. I think that there are some things that we're just not ready for. And we
Hmm.
have to know how to deal with those things. Because when you're telling me that, oh well, you were in slavery at this time and these things happened, this thing, well, history repeats itself. But because I think that we're not teaching them what this is what happened, but this is what right looks like. If we're
Hmm.
not all enacting on what right looks like, because some people still have that, you were inward mentality, and or you were whatever we want to call the Caucasian race. But like, I just think that learning that stuff can create division. Do we need to know about their history? Yeah, so we don't repeat it. But I think there's a time and a place for everything.
Hmm.
Maybe maybe college. I don't really know. I don't know, or I don't know, but that's a really that's a tough topic for me.
Yeah. It is. It's very touchy. Um, but I definitely understand your perspective. Um, but I guess too, like even though black people may have been slaves, I I feel like that's a way to look at how far we've come and how we can continue to move forward. So I guess I just look at it a little different. So like when Jaslyn talks to Charles a lot about history. That's his thing. He loves history. So they talk a lot about what happened in the past, and she's very understanding of it. So I guess it's just different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
You know?
Um, and then, because I don't think I ever came home and talked to mama and daddy about slavery. I just remember learning it in class and then formed an opinion and just went from
Mhm.
there.
Yeah.
So maybe if they send a document home, we're going to discuss slavery, and if you could take the time out to discuss, with your children, maybe give them some pointers to discuss. Like you
Hmm.
said, how far the African American race has come, how these things have cultured the African American community, how these
Hmm.
so look at the positive impacts or
Yeah.
the influences from what took place. Because when we look at slavery, I feel like sometimes we only focus on the African American piece of it, but Jews were in slavery. There was so many. There's so many races that were in slavery, and
Hmm.
focused on, but history books just focus on black,
Yeah.
or the books are written to like talk negative sometimes about the Native Americans and who they were.
Hmm.
It's so the way that the books are written, it's like it's taking from that
Yeah.
that particular race rather than saying, well, they're great. They've evolved because they don't praise it in a sense of betterment. It's more of,
Hmm.
I don't know, girl, but I just think
Yeah.
that
Well.
presentation is everything.
Yeah. I totally agree. And then, of course, we could credit a lot of the slaves came up with, powerful inventions, and
Mm-hmm.
and then we can see the they were just a lot of them were so much stronger than
Mm-hmm.
what we have in front of us today. Like, if it was me during that time, I'd probably be like, y'all just kill me. I can't live like this. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
they were strong people, and a lot of them had very strong faith. So I just feel like there is so much that we can learn, from that period of time, and to just erase it. It's just like it never happened. You know.
Yeah. I definitely don't think we should erase it, but I do think that we should be mindful of when we share it and how we're sharing it.
Hmm.
And it just makes me think like about how they some older people, they'd be like, oh, they've taken this stuff out of history books and this about it. And I remember being like, wait, what are you talking about? You don't even know what you're talking about. But we're seeing that. We're seeing how politics is trying to govern the way we think, the way that we
Hmm.
see, the way we view things. And man, that's why it's so important, that whole piece of that. That's why having a relationship with Christ is so important.
Hmm.
He revealed things to you that nobody else see. He shows
Right.
you stuff that people want to hide, because there's nothing that's done in the dark that will not be exposed. So,
Hmm.
whenever you want to know something, all you gotta do is just go to God. He lets us know in Jeremiah 33:3 that you can call to him and ask him, and he will tell you great and unsearchable things that you do not know. So even though man may say that's not true, God be like, I can show you where to find it. He
Right.
shows us treasures in hidden places, or hidden treasures in dark places.
Mhm.
So yeah, um, but yes, I do think that we talked about some really good. We did provide some really good pointers on how we can help the children excel in school. And again, we're heading to the end of the school year, but these are things that we can utilize this summer to prepare us for the upcoming school year. So I don't want anyone to
Mhm.
this at the end of the school year, and y'all gonna see it again. You're gonna see a rerun. So it is what it is. To prepare you for the way ahead. So, but yes. Do you have any final remarks for the people?
I just want to let everybody know that, to keep in mind that God is the source of all resources. He is it. So, we must instill that in our children so that they can continue to, you know, um, move forward, excel in school, excel in life. If that foundation ain't right, I don't know what to tell you. That is all.
Oh my goodness. Y'all, I am so excited that my sister was here with me on today. Y'all see how calm and meek she is, and how laid back and gentle she is. Yes.
Yeah.
I told y'all when my mama was with Sheena, that's how my mama is. She's just pitch to the dynamic. But I do want to encourage everybody and let you know that we have I'm gonna move you for just 1 second, Sheena. We
Okay.
have I want to invite you to sign up for the what's this wellness tea party. I am on eventbrite.com. I will be the guest speaker for this year. If you live in, near, or around the Charlotte area, it is scheduled for May 21st, 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Again, you can sign up at eventbrite.com. This wellness tea party is for those who are looking to be inspired spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. And I know that we have all been in a pandemic. And we can all attest to the challenges that we have faced over the past couple of years. So please sign up, attend. It is free. It's free to register, and seats are limited. Well, ladies and gentlemen, y'all know what it is. Breakthrough TV, same place, same time. I will see you next weekend. Sheena, thank you so much for being here on the show with me, girl.
You're very welcome.
All right, y'all. Have an amazing Saturday.
Bye.